All right. We should be live. Let me make sure everything is copacetic. All right. Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to the stream. I know, I have been horribly inconsistent with the streaming, and I apologize. I was actually at the park. I was actually at the beach the other day, and one of my supporters, guy named Pyro, shout out to Pyro, he actually hit me up and said, "Hey man, when are you getting back on the stream?" And I hate to be the guy who doesn't stream because people are asking me to get up here and start streaming. So obviously, I have a person or two who actually supports the stream. So thank you for the people who actually support the stream and actually want to stop through the stream and actually want to, interact and things like that. That one person that hits you up and says, "Hey, I want to hear what you have to say." That's all it takes. Right? That is why you do what you do. That is why you do it. There's a very viral clip of the guy Speed, and he was saying, I had that one streamer, and he just kept me going. You know, 1 week it was one guy, and then the next week it was four, and then it was eight, and then is on and on and on. So if you guys are looking to getting into streaming, all it takes is the support of one person to really stoke that fire to get you out there to do a little bit more, stick with it, and become great. So I do encourage you all to start making some content. And my boy is in the chat. Says it's good catching you on the stream. It's good. It's good being here. It's good being here. And since you ruined it with the live, we live, man. So if you guys are thinking about getting into content, now is actually a very good time. And actually, that's what we're going to talk about here today, is why you should probably start making some sort of content. I'm not too sure how you guys feel about AI. I don't know how you guys feel about gaming and things of that nature, but AI and gaming and music, they are all sort of coalescing. They're all sort of coming together in a very interesting way. I don't know if you saw the thumbnail that I put up. I had the guy Mark Phillips from RDC on there. I had the guy Burnt Peanut on there. I think Queso might have been on there. These guys are all obviously streamers, big time streamers. But then I also had the Open AI, the Chat GPT logo, and the Apple Music logo up there. There are a lot of interesting things that are taking place where all of these different areas of content are about to kind of collide. And this is a great time for you guys to get in on that and kind of make some money, because there's going to be a lot of money flying around. So that's what we're going to talk about today. Is that I should definitely get into content. You really should. If you're thinking about getting into content, I don't want to be Mr. Doomsday guy, but you got potentially World War III popping off in the middle of the ocean out there in India or whatever, out there in Iran. He's trumping right now. So if we don't all get blown away, hopefully we don't, this would be a great time for people to get into, content creation. The main reason why is AI, whether you like it or not, is kind of like a bubble. I don't know if you guys are old enough to remember the .com boom, the whole .com bubble, but there was a point in time where people were just investing so much into these websites and the .coms and everything like that. And the big question became, when does this become lucrative? Like, at what point in time does a person actually turn a profit? That's the number one question. When do I get paid? If people aren't getting paid, you can't really say that a particular thing is at all, lucrative. So that was the big question. When do I get paid? When do I make this money? And with the .com thing, you really didn't make the money the way a lot of people didn't make the money the way they thought they were going to make the money. And it's kind of that same way with AI. Like the big question is, where does the money come from? Where are we going to get this money? And if no one's getting any money, it's worthless. So the AI companies have to find a way to infuse themselves into other things. And that's actually what's going on. AI is infusing itself into other places and other things. You have gaming, you have music, you have movies. Now, that's not necessarily enough to offset the exorbitant costs of AI. Like on another stream, I can probably break down all the costs of AI. If you know anything about computers and data centers and things like that, if you just look at something like YouTube, YouTube pays billions to store all this data that everybody uploads to it. Google, I shouldn't even say YouTube. Google owns YouTube, obviously. So Google pays billions to upload all of this stuff and have it housed and indexed on servers and have constant access worldwide. It takes lots and lots of storage, and it takes lots of energy to access this stuff. So there's money to be made, but there's also a tremendous resource expenditure. And that's kind of where AI is. AI takes like 10, 20 times more power to access than a traditional server. And people are trying to figure out how to make it all lucrative. So that's a whole other thing for a whole other time. But the point of the matter is, people are looking to infuse everything with AI because they've invested billions. And when it comes to video games, when it comes to streaming, it's actually no different. I'm going to show you guys what I'm talking about.
You have to remember that the gaming industry, like many industries, figured out what actually worked a long time ago. They figured out how to make fun games. They figured out how to make things that make people keep coming back. But it's moved from innovation to extraction. And I will note, I stole that line from Nirav Patel, founder of Framework, because he put it so much better than I did. But there's these industries that have moved from innovation to extraction. And they're now in the extraction phase where they try to make tons and tons and tons of money. And actually pushing the limits is not the top priority for some huge majority of the dollars that are in industry. And so there's a lot of stuff that you can learn, especially when you're learning it from the ground up, by going back to when people were just getting the basics right, when they were still innovating, building things that were really compelling to people. I recently had a kid. I might have a second on the way. I'm planning on starting them with, I don't even know if I'd say the classics. This isn't like a vintage play. It's starting them with a good foundation. That foundation happens to be largely old games, but I am not going to be throwing them into the slot machine microtransaction gamblorama that is dominating kids' games today. It just seems like a crazy thing to do. You have to remember that the gaming industry, like many industries, figured out what actually worked a long time ago.
Okay, so you guys heard what this guy had to say. He's talking about the video game industry figured out what worked. When you see certain video games and they flop or they do this, they do that, it's all on purpose. In today's day and age, it's all on purpose. These people know what they're doing, right? Back in the day, everybody was trying to figure out how to take the next step, right? If you remember Nintendo 64, PlayStation 1, Xbox, right? All of that all the early consoles. There were all these big leaps. You go from Super Nintendo and Sega Genesis to Nintendo 64. And there were things that people had never seen before. And a lot of the things that people had never seen before were those graphics. People had never seen these amazing graphics being rendered in real time. One of the big draws of the PlayStation was, games like Final Fantasy that had these cinematic cutscenes. Nobody had ever seen anything like that. Well, fast forward 30 years, we've seen it all. You go to stuff like Xbox. Xbox was kind of revolutionary. He said, I remember the GameCube, Xbox 360. Yeah, if you think back to like the GameCube, the Xbox, like the 360 and the PS2, if you go back to like the PS2 is probably the most popular console of all time. Like it just sold like hotcakes. You go to like the Xbox. Obviously, the Xbox had Halo. Halo as a game, as a franchise, it redefined the first-person shooter. It redefined action games, and it redefined like online gaming, because Xbox was the first company to really focus heavily on this connected experience. As to where, with PlayStation and GameCube, you could get your friends over and they could play. I think PlayStation only had two controllers and they didn't have the same kind of modem system going on that Xbox had. Xbox was like the first ones to kind of try that out. And the key feature, and this is going to be important later, the key feature of the Xbox was that you could load a CD onto the Xbox and you could rip the music and you could play the music while you were playing the game. Is that Halo was also co-op? Yes, Halo was also co-op. So there were all these features that people had never really seen before. Right? You could play the main campaign as a co-op, like you and your brother, you and your cousins, you and your friends, whatever the case might be. So Xbox was like the first company to really look deep into how do we connect people and give them this game, but also give them this grand experience. And like I said, the music. The music part of the Xbox is going to be important later on. Well, you fast forward to the Xbox 360, the PlayStation 3. I was in the military at the time the PS3 came out and the Xbox 360, so I didn't get to play too much of it, but I saw a lot of guys playing it. And this is where I do believe the whole Call of Duty ecosystem was kind of born. Like Call of Duty just exploded in popularity. Halo exploded into popularity. Now, if you remember, Xbox 360 was just like, it was everything. If you were gaming, you had to have that Xbox. Xbox had Halo, Xbox had Call of Duty, and now all of a sudden we are online. And those early primitive caveman chat rooms, those early chat rooms were just vicious. It was crazy. Those early Xbox 360 chat rooms were so bad, Congress had to get involved. It was kind of the wild, wild west. But what happened was, it was no longer you need this whole bunch of friends. I don't need 8 friends to have fun on the game anymore. All I need is a solid internet connection. You get online, you hook up, and you're talking to strangers from all around the world, and everybody's the hard R, and everybody's mom is a 304. It was the Wild West. But it was a great time. Well, see, companies learn from all of this. They learn from all of this, and as time marches on, we get to this point in time where it's good to have this stuff, but there's no next step. You go from Xbox 360 to what? I don't know what came after. Was it Xbox One? You go from PS3 to PS4. PlayStation names their stuff good and simple. You go from PS3, Xbox 360 to PS4. There is a meaningful boost in graphics. Side note, I watched a documentary on Xbox 360 and PlayStation 3 and why all the games looked yellow and green. And apparently those processors couldn't render colors or something like that. So everything looked yellow and green. It is what it is. There's a reason why I never went back to play Xbox 360 games, because everything was yellowish and green and all muted out. But anyways, the point of the matter is, you get to the PS4 era, and I guess the Xbox One era or whatever came after 360, and there's a very meaningful jump in graphic capability. And there's a whole lot of games, and Xbox is doing well, and PlayStation is doing well, and they're selling lots of consoles, and the games are doing well. It's par for the course. Well, you go from PS4 to PS5, COVID hits, people can't get the PS5 for like 2 years. By the time they get it, there's no exclusive games, and the feeling is kind of underwhelming, because everything that we had on Xbox 360 that would made it unique, well, we have that now on PlayStation 5. Right? Everything from 2 console generations ago, it's all the same. It's the same connected experience. It's actually lessened because we can't cuss each other out and say foul things about each other without getting nuked. It's the same experience, right? And to a degree, nothing is new. There was not this mega leap in graphics from the PS4 to the PS5. Like we kind of hit this wall. He said, he said, yellow and green, yuck, guys. And I remember, and that doo-doo filter like Fallout. Yeah, them games look terrible. Like that was the one generation where it was like, man, I wish I had played a lot of those games, but I'm glad I didn't because it just looks so terrible. Like even now, they look terrible. Like I think I played Gears of War like remastered, and it just looked awful. I was like, golly, y'all just need to remake the whole game at this point. The PS5 yeah, the PS5 scalpers, they had this. They had the PS5 going for like thousands of dollars. Like, I remember people selling those things for like $800, and I was like, there's no way. But see, here's the thing: you look at what happened with the PS4. They hit the PS4 Pro, and then you go to PS5, and now there's a PS5 Pro, and there's not this gigantic leap in capability. It's just not there. Now, I'm not saying the PS5 is bad. I have a PS5. I rather enjoy the games on the PS5. But if I would have known that there wouldn't be that big of a graphical upgrade, I might have waited. Now, I say all that to say in math, and I probably mentioned it 1,000 times. I majored in math in college. In math, there is something called the square cube law, and the square cube law it pretty much just talks about how a particular thing grows in size. And what that means is if you have an object and it is an object with volume and surface area, the volume is obviously defined by x to the third, and the surface area is defined by x squared. Well, the bigger you make this object, in this case, let's say a house, or you can say even like a cat, an elephant, whatever. If you have an object that has both volume and surface area, the bigger you make that object, the slower the surface area is going to expand. So if you have this house and you make it bigger, 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 the volume of the house is going to increase by x to the third. The surface area increases by x squared. Well, 3 is bigger than 2. At some point in time, it's all going to collapse. Now, this is obviously why you can't have these giant animals. Like this is why people can't grow to like 9, 15, 20 feet and everything like that. There's a whole lot of stuff that goes into that. I'm not going to bore you guys with the detail. What we care about is how does this relate to streaming, video games? How does it relate to AI? And the way it relates is from the standpoint of business, there is actually a squared cube law. And that is just the law of diminishing returns at scale. And essentially what that says is when you have a business and you keep growing this business bigger, 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 the footprint of the business, that is the brick and mortar stores, the logistics required to, send the trucks out, all the consumers that have to be served, the surface area that this business physically takes up will expand at x squared. But the volume expands at x to the third. And the volume of any business is how many people do you have to pay? All of your employees, all of the bureaucracy, all of the taxes that you have to pay, all of the legal litigation you might have to go through. Everything that goes into running the business on the back end outside of actually producing the product and putting it out. That's the volume. Well, what ends up happening inevitably when you have any business, let's say McDonald's. McDonald's can only get so big before expanding any more just becomes problematic. Case in point. Pyro, who's in the chat, Pyro lives in Jamaica. I live in San Diego. I'm going to assume that there is a McDonald's in Jamaica. I could be wrong. There's definitely McDonald's in San Diego. Well, San Diego operates one way, because it's mainland United States. But how does the McDonald's in Jamaica operate? Like, do you have farms in Jamaica where you can slaughter the cows and grow russet potatoes and stuff like that to make the fries? No. Jamaica might have a different set of operating principles because Jamaica's an island, it's away from the mainland United States. You know, how do they store, like, is Jamaica capable of operating the same way as every other McDonald's? He said it's like a bubble in a loaf of bread baking eventually, but yeah, eventually it's gonna burst. So you might be able to consolidate how McDonald's operates in San Diego with how it operates in Jamaica. But what happens when you take it to Japan? There's no cows in Japan. How do you operate your McDonald's in Japan? Because they have it there. Okay. Now, the way McDonald's operates in Japan will be different from how it operates here in America. And the way it operates in Japan or America will be different from how it operates in France. I don't know how many of you guys eat cereal, but if you eat like Fruit Loops, if you've ever eaten Fruit Loops, Lucky Charms, these are cereals that have like food dye in them. Well, when you go to the EU, when you go to Europe, a lot of those food dyes, I know like red dye number 9, it's outlawed. So when we start talking about when we start talking about how these things operate, how the square cube law affects business, you have to understand it might not be lucrative to put a McDonald's everywhere because you just have to deal with so much bullcrap. iPhone. If you have an iPhone, you might know that iPhone has the USB-C port on it now. It used to be Lightning. Well, they had to change that because the EU, Europe was like, look, you're creating too much waste because people have USB-C cable, people have Lightning cable, they got micro USB, they have all these cables, and you keep switching it up. We're done with this. So the EU literally told Apple, you can either switch from Lightning. He said, Fruit Loops is too sweet. Fruit Loops are terrible. Like I'm too old for Fruit Loops. I can't do it. Not at my age. Nope. Indigestion. But the EU told Apple, you can either switch to USB-C to be compliant with Samsung and every other kind of phone, or we can just ban the iPhone. We got USB-C. So you guys start to see how a business might come up against different operating laws that make it not lucrative to expand anymore. And so when this guy says what he says,
like many industries, figured out what actually worked a long time ago.
Industries know what work, they know what don't work. He says, same as what CGA says, adapt or die. Yeah, it's adapt or die. Businesses have to adapt. They know what works. They do the math years in advance to see how they're going to expand. And when they do these formulas, they say, okay, we can expand like this. And if there's anything in the way, they will pay bureaucrats, they'll pay politicians to move things here and there to get the job done. Well, like I said, there's only so many politicians you can pay. There's only so many laws you can have passed to make your business bigger. There's only so much you can do to expand your business before any further expansion becomes worthless. The return on investment is not there. This is basic business. I don't want to bore you guys with basic business, but when we talk about how streamers are going to become billionaires within the next few years, it's important to understand this. So when you understand that these businesses have to find a way to keep expanding, but there is no more surface area for them to take up. There's no more video games to create. We've seen everything. We are as connected as we can possibly be. That happened back with Xbox 360. Xbox 360 was like the first console to really connect us like this. It wasn't the last. They didn't have the best graphics, but we've seen it all. So the question really becomes, what comes next? This is where we get to AI. Okay. Now, before we go to AI, and I fully explain this, I want to show you this. I want to show you a few things.
All of the illusions, whoever's casting them wouldn't be able to hurl kunai at us without us being able to see where they're hiding. I'll show them two can play at this game.
What a sneaky great point. Naruto doesn't get enough credit for being as intelligent as he is. Like, yes, a lot of his plans don't work out, but his plans usually don't work out because unforeseen circumstances arise. And well, like, yes, this is tech.
Okay, I'm not going to bore you guys with Naruto. This guy, his name is Nick Connor, and he has a whole channel dedicated to Naruto. Like, if I were to pull up his channel on YouTube, it's all Naruto. Like, his entire channel is dedicated to talking about Naruto, debunking Naruto myths, doing hypotheticals. You know, who would win in a fight? This guy in the Naruto universe or Krillin? This guy in the Naruto universe or this guy from Bleach? And he's made a very successful channel. Go check him out. He's great. The reason that I bring this up is because when it comes to video games, that's one industry of entertainment. When it comes to anime, it's kind of the same thing. When it comes to anime, there was a point in time where the anime people, they were looking to expand and they hadn't fully saturated the market. I don't know how old you guys are. I'm 40. I remember when Toonami came out. And back in the days, back in the olden days, it was like Dragon Ball Z, I think it was Gundam Wing, Ronin Warriors, and then there was a lot of different things that came and went. You can go look up the history of Toonami in America, but the point of the matter is, not too long ago, there was a time back in 2000 where anime didn't have a footprint in America, not a meaningful footprint. Keep in mind, apparently Sailor Moon is anime. Sailor Moon was there since like 97. I remember Sailor Moon from like way back in the day. But nobody was really watching that. And I guess technically Voltron is a form of anime, but it's more cartoony. The more you know, right? So is it Vampire Hunter and Ninja Scroll? Yeah. So you guys start to see there was a time when anime wasn't lucrative, even for the companies creating it, and they were looking to expand. Now, like I said, this guy Nick, he has this really great channel, and it's all dedicated to Naruto. The whole thing is dedicated to Naruto. And a very funny thing happened a few years ago.
And free time has now become One Piece time. Everyone's like, oh, the pacing's so bad in One Piece. The arcs take so long. I would watch the Straw Hats do taxes. I would listen to Luffy read the side effects of cancer treatments. I love this fucking show. And, it might be better than Naruto. You don't understand.
Okay, that's what I wanted you guys to see. Now, this guy built his whole YouTube channel. Keep in mind, he has nearly 1 million subscribers. Whenever the Comic-Cons come to town, the Comic-Con is the biggest convention for comics and anime and video games. They have it in New York. They have it in San Diego. They have it in LA. There might be a couple of other places, but New York, LA, San Diego are like the biggest ones. Whenever they have these conventions, this guy gets an invite. And the reason he gets an invite is because of how big his channel is when it comes to Naruto. I'll actually try to pull this up. I'm gonna go to his channel real quick, just so I don't know if you guys know who this guy is. Let's see. So you see, it says NC Hammer 23. That's the guy, Nick Connor 23. He's got 755,000 subscribers. Now, if you look at the, and keep in mind, there's a reason that I'm doing all of this. You just heard the guy say, I love One Piece. It might be better than Naruto. But this guy gets flown out to all the Comic-Con events because of his Naruto channel. Byron said, yeah, I wanted to expand on his content creation. Yeah. So when you watch this guy's stuff, it's Naruto. It says sensing technique explained. It's all Naruto. You know, I can go back as much as I want, and it's all going to be Naruto, Naruto, Naruto. Now keep in mind, he has 1.9 thousand videos. He almost has 2,000 videos and a whole bunch of shorts. And it's all Naruto. Now, like I said, I think this guy is a fantastic content creator. I watch his stuff. I'm not subscribed to him here because this is my dummy channel. But like I said, this guy is a Naruto content creator. But recently, this guy he's been doing a lot of stuff with One Piece. And the question becomes why? And the answer, obviously, is because of expansion. You can only talk so much about Naruto before the well runs dry. If I go back to his oldest stuff, you know, he's doing some gaming stuff, and then all of a sudden he starts talking about Naruto. So he's talking about Naruto way back 4 or 5 years ago. And over 4 or 5 years, this guy has done 1.9 thousand videos. So you see, he really loves the show. And it's got him big enough to get these first class tickets to other places. So why is he talking about One Piece? I'm going to show you guys why this man is talking about One Piece. I don't know if you remember, I don't know how many of you guys watch RDC. Everybody should know RDC, but if you don't,
you up. And you weak, you let Bill.
Let me restart that.
Come on, Vegeta, Goku already beat you up. And you weak, you let Bill slap your wife.
Don't want to Bill slap my wife. What you gonna, man, you know what? I'm not even gonna fight you. I don't fight people with wet shoes on.
Oh, come on, boy, you better stop.
Guys, please. Okay, Vegeta, I'll fight you if that's what you want. Saitama, I'll fight you next.
What?
I'm not fighting
Kakarot.
That doesn't matter. It's 6 of us. We're about that action. And the world shall know pain.
But didn't 6 of you lose to Naruto?
All right, so in case you guys don't know what's going on, RDC is this very prolific content creation group. And what RDC does is they make a lot of anime-based content. A lot of anime-based content. And of that anime-based content, this is a skit called Anime House. This is a skit called Anime House. Power said, I definitely know them. Yeah, most people do. Most people do know RDC. Now, RDC does this thing. It's called Anime House. I'm going to let this finish just for the people watching the stream.
Tomorrow. Don't bring that shit up. You know that was plot.
Ah, yes, blame it on plot. If that's the case, all of us lost due to plot pain.
No, y'all didn't lose because of plot. Y'all lost because y'all were sorry. Don't put yourselves on our level.
I'm in the way.
And now the world shall know pain.
But man, I don't care who you are. You better care who I am because I'm Yami. I'm not Yugi. I ain't with that friendly shit. So what you want to do? I keep Dark Magician on me. What you saying? And I got the Egyptian God card on me. What you saying? Man.
So you guys kind of see what's going on here. These guys are the leaders of the hood anime junction. Like there's a lot of black people who have gotten into anime and video games. And when it comes to anime specifically, these guys are kind of like the leaders of that whole thing. Now, the reason I bring this up is because, like I said, they're doing this skit called Anime House. I don't know exactly when this particular one came out, but this particular skit was one that went like mega viral. I think they had like 30 million views on this, and this is when people take anime too serious. I'm gonna let you guys see this for the purposes of making this point.
Shit, it's finna go down in here.
What the fuck is nigga doing? I'm done playing with you.
It's only real when you don't believe it. So, believe it.
That was the weakest shit I've ever heard. Hey, hold on, man. I'm just playing. Damn.
Okay. So you guys see this. Pretty funny. What they're doing is obviously it's a skit on anime. Okay. Like I said, this went mega viral on YouTube. Everybody liked it. I think it got like 30 some million views over the years. And this is the one that really put them on. Like I said, everybody knows these guys. They have like 7 million followers, I believe. I can actually go to their page. If I go to their page and I go to their videos and I go to their most popular ones, you will see the video we just watched had 26 million views. All right. 26 million views is a lot of views. Now, this was 10 years ago. Now, the question becomes, what does this have to do with One Piece? Because remember, we started off talking about One Piece. So what does this have to do with One Piece? In this same skit, in this exact same skit, you see, in the same skit, you actually see this guy say Gumu Gumu Nam or something like that. He says something. I don't know what he said. But when he got down in a 3-point stance, he said something, and then he punched the other guy in the stomach. Whatever he said is a reference to One Piece. Now, if you see right here, it says,
You don't do.
now, am I in the way? I might be in the way. I do apologize if I'm in the way. Let me try to move this real quick. Okay, so you guys can see they have 7.26 million subscribers. 7.26 million subscribers over the years. And that particular thing, when people take anime too far, it got 26 million views. And this was posted 10 years ago. Now, the reason I show this is because, like I said, we started off talking about One Piece and everything like that. There was actually a One Piece reference in this show 10 years ago. Now, I didn't catch it because I personally never watched One Piece. I didn't hear anything about One Piece. I didn't know people watched it. I didn't know what it was until about 3 years ago. Now, I'm not saying that everybody else didn't know One Piece. I'm simply saying I didn't know what One Piece was. Okay, I work in a job and everything like that. I know the popular stuff, the most popular stuff. Oddly enough, apparently, One Piece is both older than Dragon Ball Z, which everyone knows, and it's more popular. I had no clue. So if I had no clue, there's obviously a super casual who also had no clue, right? That's how these things work. Can you guys actually see this? Hope you guys can actually see this. When it comes to this kind of stuff, the super casual is who a particular company or corporation is trying to sell to, right? They are trying to sell to the ultra casual viewer. When it comes to selling to the ultra casual viewer, there's only so many of them out there. It's a finite number. So once you reach all the ultra casuals, what happens? You can't really expand. Once again, the square cube law kicks back in. It's the law of diminishing returns at scale. But how does this relate back to Nick Connor, the guy NC Hammer? If you remember, he started off only talking about Naruto. And then he shifted and said, I love One Piece. And I told you, that video of him saying he loves One Piece happened about 3 years ago. I also said I didn't find out about One Piece until 3 years ago. But there was this group of people RDC, who apparently knew who One Piece was the whole time. Okay. So One Piece had obviously expanded to some people who were influential, but not to the maximum extent. So what do you have to do to fully saturate the market? Quite obviously, you have to pay for promotion. Now, this is not some earth-shattering thing, okay? I'm not trying to, sit up here and be like, oh, I know everything. No, this is not some earth-shattering thing. We know about promotion. We know how promotion works. We know about advertising, right? It's not that far out of the realm of understanding that an advertiser for One Piece would say, hey, these ultra popular people know us, but these other super popular people don't know us. Let's reach out to all these other people and let's pay them to talk about our product, One Piece. This is basic advertisement. So you guys start to see some of these people are in fact paid, right? Nick Connor talks about Naruto. The One Piece guys reach out to him to say, hey, talk about One Piece. Some people know about One Piece, but not enough. We need to saturate the market. That's all this really is market saturation. And when we start talking about how this affects like AI or how AI will eventually affect this, you guys can start to get a better sense of what's going on. Now, hold on. Technical difficulties. Okay, so you guys can start to get a better sense of what's going on. So this is, like I said, this is RDC. This happened 10 years ago. 10 years ago, RDC knew about this whole thing. I did not know. I didn't necessarily know about it. They knew about it. Lots of people knew about it. Why does this matter? This matters because of this guy.
This is my setup. This is just like my PC setup. We got the Luffy manga right there. Like it's a Luffy and check. If y'all didn't peep, look at the hand. Gum Gum Desk. A Gum Gum Desk. Like chat, you gotta peep the concepts. Peep the concepts. So we got the Gum Gum.
Okay, so you guys see what's going on. I Show Speed is he has his whole room decked out in One Piece. Once again, I'm not hating. I'm not hating. I'm old. I didn't know what One Piece was. Like I said, apparently One Piece is more prolific in Japan than Dragon Ball. Apparently it's older. There's more, or at least there's more manga episodes. And apparently the people who are really into manga, RDC, they knew about it. But when the heck did Speed get on this? When did Speed get on this? Speed got on this at the same time NC Hammer, Nick, got on it 3 years ago. I don't know if you guys remember, but when the lockdowns came, because everybody was catching the cooties, the lockdowns came, and I think 2020, 2021, there was no Comic-Con, or it was like severely reduced. 2022 comes out, and all of a sudden, boom, One Piece is everywhere. You couldn't not hear about One Piece, right? You couldn't not hear about it. He said the Lightning McQueen poster in the gaming chair. Speed has good taste. He's got, like, if he's actually into all of this stuff, he has good taste. But you guys start to see how the marketing works. Speed, when he first got on, was like 16 or 17, and he wasn't talking about One Piece. The reason I mention this is because 10 years ago, I think Speed is 21 now, so you rewind 10 years, he would have been 11. You would think that at that point in time, he would know. He's just a kid. He's got nothing to do but go to school, eat gummy bears, do recess, watch anime, play games. Like, you would think he would know, but he didn't know. Like I said, the super casuals don't know. RDC knew 10 years ago Speed had to be put up to speed, no pun intended, by the advertisers. Everybody didn't know about One Piece until the advertisers told people to start talking about it. This is what I'm talking about when we say market saturation. This is what I'm talking about when I say the square cube law and the law of diminishing returns at scale. Now that RDC is talking about One Piece in a major way, now that Nick Connor, a former and current Naruto enthusiast who built his whole channel on Naruto, now that he's talking about this at a very high level, now that iShowSpeed, potentially one of the biggest streamers in the world, now that all of these people are talking about this show, everyone knows about it now. So where do we go from here if you are the One Piece crew? Like if you're the people who write One Piece, you have reached total market saturation. Spending any more money for people to talk about your product, is it going to get you any better return? Like, are you going to make more? Are you going to sell more issues? Like, maybe, but I highly, highly doubt it. So in a capitalistic society, when a business, its sole goal is to expand and touch all corners, what happens when all the expansion is done? What happens when there's no more corners to touch, and when expanding any further only hurts you? What happens then? Well, what happens is you get what we got with Marvel. I don't know if you know, Marvel, obviously they built this big billion-dollar corporation with Marvel. Okay, I'll put this on just for people to see things. You built this big billion-dollar corporation with Marvel. And what happened was with Marvel, they did all the things. They showed us Tony Stark, and they showed us the Hulk, and they showed us Iron Man, they showed us Captain America and Black Panther. And you got everybody in on the act, and you built this great big thing. And there's nothing more to do with it because people will start getting sick of it. If you do anything more, well, guess what? People aren't going to come look at it. People got superhero fatigue. So what they started doing with Marvel is they turned it into the MCU. They started putting out a product they knew nobody was going to want. They started making it gayer. They started making it more for women. They started making their own product undesirable. And eventually, Disney starts to collapse. Marvel Studios starts to collapse. Everything starts to fall apart. Now, you might think to yourself that that is bad business. And I'm here to tell you it's not. Why is it not bad business?
Industry, you have to remember that the gaming industry, like many industries, figured out what actually worked a long time ago. They figured out how to make fun games.
They know what works. These industries know what works. The gaming industry knows what works. They know what don't work. The music industry, they knows what works. They know what don't work. Every industry, they have spent millions and billions of dollars on research to understand what will work. It says, like I keep saying, dating apps ads on my phone about Rainbow Squad and G's and yeah. like you keep seeing this. These people know the same thing that happens with, believe it or not, and this is why I mentioned Call of Duty. The same thing that's happening with Marvel, how they collapsed, is the same thing that's happening with Call of Duty. This is on purpose. If you guys play Call of Duty, you know there's this thing called SBMM, skill-based matchmaking. Now, the skill-based matchmaking in Call of Duty, if you remember, right before Black Ops 7 released, there was an announcement saying they were going to scale it back, not take it away. And there's multiple companies that make Call of Duty. There's multiple studios that are in charge of making it, but Activision owns the IP. They own the intellectual property. And what the people said was, we can dial back skill-based matchmaking, but we can't get rid of it because that's done by Activision, right? It says the gaming industry and the comic books and movie industry be destroying themselves. Well, are they actually destroying themselves? Because like I said, these people pay billions to figure out what works. And like we're saying, once you figure out what works, you know you're going to hit a point of market saturation. So how do you expand? You can't expand where there is no more land. There's no more room to expand. But what you can do is a strategic deconstruction of what you built, and then you do it all over again. And this is what I'm talking about, SBMM, skill-based matchmaking. With skill-based matchmaking, Activision as a whole, they run the skill-based matchmaking, and they won't dial it back because they've done the math, and they know, what they know is that the skill-based matchmaking it works like a gambling casino. You hop on the game and you have 5 good games. So you like the game. But they don't want you to like it too much because then you'll get bored. So you have 5 good games. And then you have 2 bad games, like really bad. And you say, well, wait a minute, I know I'm better than this. So you play a couple more games. You play 3 more games. And one of those games goes really good. The other 2 are still bad. So you say, okay, I'm obviously not too bad. And then you play 8 more games. And 3 of those games are really bad. And 5 are like pretty decent. And what they do is they do this weird push and pull. That's what SBMM is there to do. SBMM has nothing to do with matching your skill to the next person's skill. It's psychological. If you can go into Nuketown and you can regularly drop 30 kills, you're going to get bored. Because if you drop 30, well, maybe you drop 40 one game or 50. But if you always know you're going to get at least 30, you'll get bored. So what if one time you go in there and you get absolutely dog walked? That's interesting. That's not, I didn't plan on that. I drop 30 kills every time I go to Nuketown. I go to Nuketown and I get 30, 40 kills. But all of a sudden, I'm getting dog walked. So I lock in. And I get my regular 30. And I say, okay, that's what I thought. You play one more game and you get slaughtered. And you're like, bro, what is going on? And there is a psychological effect that takes place. It's like a gambler. They build an addiction of winning and losing, and you want to break your controller and dive through the screen, and then you're in a rage the whole time you're playing the game, and then finally you get some good kills, and that's what they do. That's the whole point of SBMM, is to piss you off and keep you coming back. That's the whole point. The whole point is that they keep matching us up with Diamond Gun and Dark Matter. Yeah, every time I get on there, Dark Matter, Diamond Camos, I'm getting slaughtered. I'm getting killed every time. But that's how skill-based matchmaking works. It serves to ensure that you come back. It is a strategic deconstruction of what you've built. You have built yourself up in Call of Duty, so now it's time to tear you down. And so in order to avoid the law of diminishing returns at scale for a business, people like Marvel have to build this amazing thing, and then they tear it apart. They release a very awful version of it. Then they fire everybody involved, and then they let it cool down. And then they hit you with, here's this other thing. Remember this thing? And then they hit you with a really good thing again, and then you're locked back in. They play with you emotionally. That's all that is. That is all that is. So when you guys start to think about this, you can kind of understand. It's all about smoke and mirrors. It's all about push and pull. Marketing is all a gimmick. Money is not necessarily real. It's all about cash flow. It is lucrative for a company to build itself up. It's not so much lucrative for it to tear itself down, but the money comes in terms of credit. If you can keep cash flow moving, you can write things off on taxes, and you're paying these people, and you're getting legislation passed. That's what people care about. That's how the money is made. The actual factual money made is irrelevant. It's about how much cash can you get to flow. You got these people, they want to spend money, they're spending billions, it's coming in, you're starting things here, you're investing things here, things are falling apart there, you're writing it off. Like cash flow. That's all business is. And when we start talking about capitalism and we start talking about expansion, we're talking about cash flow. That's what businesses want. They don't want to go out there and make $50 gajillion. They want cash flow. And this is what brings us to AI. How do we ensure a heavy, heavy cash flow from AI? Because AI is never going to be this thing that just, oh, hey, here's $1 quadrillion. It's never going to be that. There's more technical reasons why, right? People are investing billions into AI, but it's never going to return what people are investing. So the question ultimately becomes, how do we get AI to be what we want it to be, to where we can actually, turn a profit? I'm going to show you guys this. I thought I had something prepared. Is this it? No, I don't have it. I thought I had it. Let me see if I can find this. Seriously. All right. I thought I had a video up here. And it pretty much explained like how people are going about, what they're going to do in GTA. So I don't think I have this one. Is this it? I don't think this is it. This is not it. This is not it. What did I do with that? I had a whole bunch of stuff planned, but I can't find that one video. So I'm not going to do too much to try to find that video. The point of the matter is, people are talking about what they want in terms of GTA. And what they want is, they want conversations with the NPCs. They want dynamic events within the landscape of GTA. They want GTA to be this massive thing. And the problem is, there's no way to really make it that. Okay? There's no way to truly make it what people want it to be, unless you have AI. You have to think in the world of GTA, and I don't know how many of you guys I don't know how many of you guys are actually playing GTA 5. I know it came out like 13 years ago, so I don't know who plays it. But I want you to imagine for a second that you're playing GTA and you can strike up a conversation with all of the NPCs, and you can ask them a question, and within the bounds of that question, they actually remember this conversation. So you can keep coming back to that conversation. Like, you can keep asking them certain things. That sounds like something that would be awesome. It really does sound like something that would be pretty awesome to do. But the problem is, how do you get that actually, how do you facilitate that? How do you have millions of people in this game and you can just walk over to these people and you can just talk to them and they remember the conversation? Well, quite obviously, you're going to have AI, just like you have the AI chatbots. Just like you have AI, and I'm still trying to pull this up because I really wanted it to show you guys this, and I cannot find it. But you're going to have to basically have AI chatbots, and those AI chatbots, just like you have Grok and you have ChatGPT and all those things today, those AI chatbots are going to be able to facilitate this. But you're obviously going to have to pour a ton of money into all of this to ensure that it works without a hitch. And it's obviously very difficult to do, but that's the point of AI, right? People want to infuse AI into the gaming industry. And I don't think I'm going to be able to find this thing. And this was like the one thing that I actually needed for this whole thing. And as soon as I end this stream, it's going to pop up. Oh, there it was. So I'm not going to do too much digging for it. I'm going to jump to this point then.
TikTok and Apple Music. According to reports, the two companies are beta testing a feature called Play Full Song, which would allow TikTok users to stream complete tracks through Apple Music without ever leaving the TikTok app. The system is powered by Apple's Music Kit framework, letting third-party platforms embed Apple Music playback directly inside their ecosystems. The feature would require an active Apple Music subscription with playback labeled from Apple Music, while Apple remains responsible for licensing and royalty payments to rights holders. They're also testing a second feature called Listening Party, allowing groups of users to stream songs together in real time, creating a shared social listening experience reminiscent of platforms like Turntable FM. The partnership builds on an already growing relationship. TikTok Add to Music app tool, launched in 2023, has already driven more than 3 billion song saves across streaming services, generating billions of downstream streams and measurable chart impact. Data shows TikTok's influence on discovery is now dominant, with roughly 84% of songs that reached Billboard's Global 200 going viral on TikTok first. For Apple Music, the move is strategic, especially as it looks to compete more aggressively with Spotify, whose U.S. subscriber share has grown to 37%, while Apple's has slipped to around 25% in recent years. No public launch date has been announced yet.
Okay, so you guys are hearing what's going on. Apple is in competition with Spotify, and they are testing out new features that are going to allow them to integrate into TikTok and play music. Now, I had a whole thing that I was going to play. I can't find it. I do apologize. That was like the linchpin of this whole thing. But the point of the matter is, I was saying that when it comes to business, it's all about market saturation and what happens when you have saturated the market to such an extent that there's no place left to go. Well, quite obviously, you have to integrate into other things and then re-expand. Now think about what this guy is talking about. When you do anything in life, you have your iPhone or whatever. In America, most people have iPhone. When you are doing anything, you have your iPhone. So let's think about if you're on TikTok. If you're on TikTok and all of a sudden you get the urge to play a song, you can play songs while you scroll TikTok. Currently, you can't do that. I don't believe. You can't open like Apple Music and then turn it on and then go through, TikTok and just watch TikTok. You can't do that. But you guys have to understand what happens. What happens if Apple allows you to get on TikTok and you can you can be on TikTok, you can stream from TikTok while playing music. I want you to really think about that, right? You're on TikTok, you're streaming on TikTok, and you start playing music, boom. All of a sudden your stream is just that much better because now obviously you can play music through the TikTok app. You can stream, you can have music going. But what Apple wants to do is to fully integrate, because Apple's not necessarily, they're not necessarily trying to compete for your time. You already bought the phone. So they already got your money from the phone. They want to push Apple Music. They have put Apple phones in the hands of as many people that are going to buy them. Now they got to get other Apple products. Apple Music is the most likely one. So you have to think about this from the standpoint of being a streamer. If you're a streamer, you spark up a stream. Maybe you're doing like a live stream right from your phone, and all of a sudden you start playing music. That makes people want to actually tune in if you got some dope music going in the stream. And like the guy said, well, Apple would be on the hook for licensing and things like that. But what Apple wants to do is compete with Spotify. They want more people to go to Apple Music than are on Spotify. Because Spotify, everybody has Apple Music by default if you have an iPhone. But people are paying for Spotify. They want to take Spotify's paying customers. Okay. So they've reached market saturation. Now they have to infiltrate other things. And this is what I was talking about with GTA. Like I said, I can't find the actual thingamabob, the actual video. But the point of the matter of that video was, what people are trying to do is have conversations with NPCs. What happens when you can play music within the game? What happens when you're a streamer and you're streaming GTA 6 and all of a sudden you can just turn your music on and people can watch you play GTA 6 and they don't have to worry about the stream getting cut off and things like that? That adds people into the whole ecosystem. All of a sudden, GTA 6 is in more people's living room. Now, you also have to think, what happens when they turn GTA 6 into EVE Online? Because like I said, they're trying to make it to where, OpenAI or whatever AI company can power the NPCs of GTA. Keep in mind, people are not making the billions and billions and trillions of dollars off of AI that they thought they were going to make. They're not making that money. So how do they get a return on investment? Because they're saturated. The market is saturated in terms of AI. If you have an iPhone, you got some sort of AI on it, or you have ChatGPT. If you have X, right? You have, some form of AI. I think X has Grok. Everybody has some form of basic AI. So these basic AI companies want to turn a profit. They can't. They've reached market saturation and they're not making any profit. So how do they do it? They have to infiltrate the video games. So you have to think, what happens when these chatbots are hooked into GTA 6? And you can talk to people and you can form communities within GTA 6. You already have this loneliness epidemic with Gen Z and Gen Alpha where they're maladapted. What happens when GTA 6 has a feature that says you can link your Apple Music to GTA 6? All of a sudden, there's no real reason to leave GTA 6, because if you're a streamer, people can just come in and watch you. Now, keep in mind, you can already play the music in certain places, like I think on TikTok. But if Apple infuses itself into the video game world, if they infuse themselves into the TikTok world, all of a sudden, watching your favorite streamer on TikTok means you can listen to the music with them. And there's no problem. There's no muss, no fuss. Now, what also happens when you have GTA saying, hey, you can link your OBS, or you don't even need OBS. All you have to do is have a TikTok or a YouTube or a Twitch. You link it to GTA. When you fire it up, all you have to do is hit one little button, and just like that, you're live. And if you have a webcam, people can see you, or you can build an avatar that looks like you. You're playing your music, and you have this vibe going. The NPCs are powered by AI, so you can build this little community. Those are your chatters. All of a sudden, the streaming world takes off because everybody has a community that's real. Like, do you guys get what I'm saying? He says, that would be nice, but in the older games, like PS3, can use a jukebox. Yeah. Well, I'm talking about, like, you have to think about what these companies are trying to do. They don't have any more room for market expansion, so they have to invade each other's territory. It's basically one big technological turf war. Apple is trying to muscle in on TikTok's territory. They're trying to say, hey, we have a license for all this music. If you partner with us, we'll let people play the music and we'll handle all of all the licensing fees, and more people will come to TikTok to watch people play the game. That keeps people on TikTok. And then on the back end, they pay for an Apple Music subscription because they're in direct competition. You guys get what I'm saying? Like, there's no place to expand in terms of horizontal expansion. There's no more. All the hands have an iPhone. Everybody has an iPhone. Everybody has Apple Music. The question is, do you pay for it? The only way to get people to pay for it is if I'm Apple, I have to be someplace else. If you are on TikTok, I want to also be on TikTok. So I'm going to give you an option on TikTok to play my music. Now, I don't know if YouTube will go for this because YouTube is so big, they don't really have to play anybody else's game. Like, they don't have to capitulate to anything. But you have to think, what happens if Apple partners with TikTok? That's muscling in on YouTube. YouTube is the biggest video platform, but now all of a sudden, well, who wants to go watch their favorite streamer on YouTube when if watching them on TikTok means I can listen to you play the newest NBA YoungBoy album or whatever? Now, keep in mind, AI is why we're here. Is that or people who listen to music would be recommended to a streamer gaming with the music they enjoy. Exactly. And that's the whole point. This is the whole point. All of a sudden, every single streamer becomes a conduit by which marketing can occur. If I am any particular streamer, let's say I'm the clavicular guy, I'm the Looksmaxer. I don't know what the heck these people listen to. I don't know what Looksmaxers listen to other than Kanye songs that get them canceled. If I'm clavicular and I don't want to go to the club, I can spark up TikTok. I can spark up GTA. I got my integrated OBS because I'm seeing a future where OBS is no longer a thing, where every game like a GTA will have an OBS-like function. All you need is a webcam and a microphone, and they'll let you go live right from the game. If that were to happen, think about somebody like Clavicular. Everybody's going to watch his stream. He could be listening to Backstreet Boys, Country, Wu-Tang, who knows? But it's a whole vibe. It's a whole vibe. It says it's all about the views, and the views is the money. It's all about views. If you can keep people on this platform, and this is why I said, if you can infuse AI with these video games, people are going to be billionaires. I want you to really think about this. We talked about all these anime people, how they're humongous and how people reach out to them for marketing. What happens when you have the streamers like Kai Cenat or whoever, and they just live on the video game? This is why I mentioned EVE Online. I don't know if you guys know what EVE Online is, but it's this ultra mega expansive game where people are on the game 24/7 and they actually get paid to do certain jobs within the game. And GTA 6 is working on that. They're working on crypto being infused into the game. They're working on a way to put money into the game, make that money circulate in the game, get digital assets, and that can be cashed out in the real world. That's what they're looking at. Is that look masker said video game is a waste of time, but the way he said it make him sound like he's mocking boomers. Well, I mean, this guy's going to say whatever he has to say, and he's going to do whatever is going to get him money. So Clive is going to do whatever is going to get him money, and he'll say, "Oh, it's a waste of time until the next person comes along and is making $1 million a month," right? So he'll do whatever for the money. So you guys got to understand, if Apple can infuse itself with TikTok, all of a sudden, everybody is going to TikTok to watch their favorite streamer. People are going to be paid. Oh, this is the guy who listens to country. This is the guy who listens to old school rap. This is the guy who listens to stripper music. This is the guy who listens to, XYZ, and he plays this game. Marketing becomes a whole other thing. And like I said, with the AI, you guys got to understand what the AI is going to do. If GTA 6 can be infused with AI, specifically like chatbots, and they have dynamic events, they have hurricanes, or they have, heists, and they have things you have to do. You can build communities And then all of a sudden you can pay people just like the streamers pay clippers. You can pay your community to keep your digital turf safe. Like, people are seeing the cash flow. The streamer streams, the clipper clips, the clipper makes money. Well, why pay one clipper 30 grand a month, allegedly on the high end? Why pay one person that much money when you can pay 30 clippers or 30 people $1,000 a month to be a part of your community and keep your digital GTA turf safe? You're going to have digital mafias. Is that a Minecraft world turned into a personalized AI world? Exactly. Exactly. And that's the major point of the AI. And this is why I tell you, you want to get a digital footprint now. You want to start doing things now. You want to start building a community now. I don't know when GTA 6 is coming out. It might never come out. Like I said, we might get nuked and that's it. Who knows? We might go to World War III, might extend, and we can't get no oil, so we can't power the data farms. Who knows? I don't know. But assuming we don't all get blown away, GTA 6, I don't see any reason why people can't make billions of dollars. If you have these streamers that make like tens of millions of dollars a year, imagine what's going to happen. And this is why I have this Burnt Peanut guy up here. I'm sure everybody knows Burnt Peanut.
Live by the goop, die by the goop. Where is the equalizer?
Look at your inventory right now.
I would risk it all. Where's the equalizer at?
I have it. I'm just kidding. It's on me.
No, you fucking don't. No, you fucking don't.
I dropped it in between the towers. Don't go for it. No, Peanut.
I'm going in. We're going back.
He says you're going to have digital corporate folks. Yeah, you're going to have digital white collar. This Burnt Peanut guy. This guy is the biggest thing in streaming. Let me, in case you guys haven't seen, let me just show you guys this Burnt Peanut fella for a second. Burnt Peanut. If I go to this guy's content, this guy has 1.68 million subscribers. Very impressive. If you go to his live streams, this guy streams on average for about 7 hours, and he gets nearly 1 million views every single time. 858,000. Like, what are we even talking about here? This guy's views are absolutely insane. You got 1 million views, 1 million views. Every time he's up here, he's getting 1 million views or close to it, right? Now, is he botting? Probably. Who knows? The point of the matter is, Arc Raiders is kind of the game that put him on and blew him up. Can you imagine if this guy goes to GTA 6? That Peanut got paid for playing the high ground. He was. Yeah, I think everybody did. Everybody got, everybody's getting paid. All of these streamers are getting paid by somebody to do this stuff. But could you imagine if this guy goes to GTA 6 and he takes 1 million followers with him? If he takes an average 858,000, 848,000. This guy is averaging something like 800,000 people per stream. And he's there for 7 hours. I want you to imagine this guy, and he plays music on YouTube. Keep in mind, when you play music on YouTube streams, you either have to have a license to do it or they simply demonetize the stream, right? Now, when you go and you see what he's doing on Twitch, he'll have about 50,000 people watching him on Twitch. But with Twitch, you get exclusive contracts, you get all kinds of stuff. So you got to think, if you can play music and Apple's going to worry about the licensing so that doesn't have to come out of your pocket, and you put that on TikTok, TikTok is going to offer this guy millions. Like, hey man, come to TikTok, we're going to offer you $1 quadrillion. Potentially, right? TikTok got bought by Cisco or Oracle, whatever, Larry Ellison. I don't know if they're going to pay the same way the Chinese were paying. It remains to be seen. But you guys see the potential, right? If you're somebody like the Peanut, there's no way this guy doesn't make $1 billion. I don't know how you guys feel about it. The guy, Dr. Disrespect. I have this guy. I do have him up here. This guy, Dr. Disrespect. He's an old school guy. This is an old school video gamer. He played Battlefield today. He got 190,000. He has 4.39 million subscribers. He does not do the same numbers as the Burnt Peanut, like not even close. But he has this thing called the Champions Club. That's what he calls his group, the Champions Club. I want you to think about this. If this guy is playing a game like Arc Raiders, or when GTA 6 comes out, let's say he's playing this, and all of a sudden he has the Champions Club as a physical location. Like, when you watch this guy's streams, Dr. 445, hey, man, people be giving it to this dude. Like, they're never letting that go. I mean, I get it, but that's hilarious. You got to think, like, what happens if this guy can, like, his whole shtick is that he's playing inside this arena. Now, Dr. Cupcake. Like, but people rock with him. People still rock with him. So if he can bring his Champions Club members, just like you have a Discord, because I think there's a Dr. Disrespect Discord. There might be a Champions Club Discord. Think about what happens if you can turn your Discord into a real, tangible, digital space where people can pay you to be in your GTA 6 community, always online, always doing things, defending your digital turf, running missions, right? And then you get on and you scream, or you get on and you stream, and you have exclusive contracts. You got the music going. You don't have to worry about getting copyright strikes. People are going to pay. People are not going to care that this dude was talking to minors. They're going to care how many eyeballs does he bring to our platform, right? Is it get his fans into a game as his players? Yeah. Well, see, that's the thing. You can convert. You're going to have people who can make employees, because if AI is infused into a game like GTA 6, like I said, if you can do something as simple as have a chat bot, you can walk up to NPCs and talk to them and they remember the conversation. Maybe there's a function where you can make friends. Maybe there's a function where you can build a gang or a syndicate. And then you have actual real people paying to be a part of your syndicate and do things for you. You guys got to understand how expansive AI could become in the world of video games, right? That his reputation is messy because of the choices he's made. Absolutely. Still though, I'm messing around. I have no hate. I don't hate him either. Like, I understand why people feel the way they feel about him. Like, you did that to yourself. Like, he did that to himself. Like, I can't defend, like, I understand the legal side of things. Like, I made a whole video about it. I understand the legal side of things, but you can't do what he did and think that people are going to let that go. They're never going to let that go. Like, he's always going to be Dr. 445. He says side quest for the side quest. Yeah, exactly. I'm telling you, people are going to get rich. There are going to be streaming billionaires because of the infusion of AI into games. You have to really, really think, like, why would people like think about like 2K? Like, I don't play 2K. I don't play Madden, but think about the people who play that game. You start infusing AI into this and you got your own squad and you go squad for squad and all the stuff. And music, you got the music going. Like, bro, it becomes its own digital third space. People are going to live on these spaces, and that's where this is where gaming is going. There's no place left for horizontal expansion. There's only infiltration. If you have a video game, you have to think about integrating an OBS function so people can go live. Why would people want to? Think about if people are going to play your game. If people are going to play Madden, why, like, they don't want to do all this stuff for streaming. I don't want to learn OBS. So think about if Madden puts an OBS feature in there. Now you're muscling in on their turf. That's the next step of expansion, being an all-in-one space. We have never seen this before, but there's no reason why individual video games like a Madden, like Arc Raiders, like Call of Duty, there's no reason why these games can't become an all-in-one space where people just don't leave. That's why I'm saying that's the next step. Because you can't make Call of Duty any bigger. Like, you can make it better, I guess, but how do you make it how do you make it bigger? Like, what else is there left to do? Right? So that junction of music and AI, that's going to be the next thing. Right? And this is why I tell people, if you're thinking about getting into content creation, now is 100% the time. Now is the time for you to get into content creation, because I don't see where we go from here. I don't see where people are going to, necessarily be able to get on doing regular content. I don't think anybody, like, the red pill is dead. Ain't nobody dating. Everybody know these girls is for the streets. We all know. Like, we all know that these girls are for the streets. We everything that there is to know about the red pill has been said. Now you got the black pill. Shout out to Clav. You got the black pill breaching containment. Like, there's no place to go but down. So that's what I'm saying. Like, if you're thinking about getting into content, now is the perfect time, because you're gonna see the first video game billionaire, the first streaming billionaire. And I don't necessarily know how. Like, I was checking out what was it, Discord? I have no clue how people are making money off of Discord. It seems like another pyramid scheme. Like, oh, just buy my Discord and I'll get rich, and then you guys can do whatever. I don't necessarily know how Discord works. It seems like something that there always has to be constant cash flow into it. And as I hear, there's a lot of dead Discord servers that, like, what are you doing constantly to upgrade that Discord server, right? But that's the thing. The video games become the self-sustaining Discord server, because when I go to TikTok, everybody's playing Arc Raiders, right? Everybody's playing Arc Raiders. There's a few games that everybody plays. So if you are a bigger streamer and you can build that third space, and you can get people, like, hired, you can hire people to do. Who is it? Phantom. Phantom's been playing GTA for how long? Like, he has a whole crew of people that link up with him in the GTA world. So think about what happens when he can do stuff with AI. Think about what happens when you don't have to leave the GTA world. And that's what people are going for. Horizontal expansion is dead. Now there is I call it temporal expansion. People are trying to expand into the fourth dimension, which is time. We need to make time a commodity. How do we get people always in this app to where they never want to leave? You make the game AI intensive. You hook the game into AI servers. The game becomes this living organism of sorts. It learns conversationally. It learns behaviorally. It's a dope place to be because of the music. Maybe you relax the rules and you could call people retarded and whatnot. Who knows? The point of the matter is, you guys have to think the way the companies think. The way you get on YouTube, like, the reason I wasn't really streaming is because I was like, okay, I'm gonna build momentum by doing shorts. And I did a bunch of shorts, but it's like, that's not really what's popping no more. YouTube does not care about pushing anybody anymore. I don't know if you guys are on TikTok. If you're on TikTok, then you know nobody's getting pushed. Like, TikTok is, it's rough. It's rough in them TikTok streets if you create content. places like TikTok isn't pushing people anymore. YouTube isn't pushing people anymore. Instagram, they're not pushing people. They've expanded as far as they can go. They don't care if you stay or if you go because they know you need them now. They have won. So the question becomes how can you flip the game? And I honestly believe there's going to be some infusion of music. There's going to be some infusion of AI into the next wave of video games. I think that's going to start with probably GTA. I honestly think that's why they keep pushing this back, because, and I'll have to do this at a later stream. But in case you guys don't know, the reason that AI is not really lucrative is because you got to think about, you have to have these servers, and you got to have all this power that is required to run these things. The amount of power required to run these AI servers at a meaningful level, at an industrial level, to do something more than just make pictures, it's insane. It's like the size of, it's like a city. To do like one thing, like you have to quadruple America's current power outage, right? You would have to add a whole nother Texas or a whole nother California. It's absolutely insane. But people who have invested into AI, like all the billionaires, all the 100 millionaires, they know they're never going to get a return on their investment. It's just not possible. It's really just not possible. So what do? They say, okay, well, we got to infuse ourselves into other places. Let me see. What was I talking about over here? What was this?
Out of nowhere and quickly became one of the most anticipated multiplayer games we've had in years. And it's so good that people are claiming it could single-handedly save the extraction genre, and even Shroud is calling it Game of the Year. Of course, I'm talking about Arc Raiders, a new PvPvE.
Everybody knows what Arc Raiders is. I'm telling you, like, what happens when we infuse Arc Raiders with AI? What happens? And you don't have to leave. So I would encourage everybody to do more in the realm of content creation. And like I said, I wasn't creating content because I don't necessarily have the topics. But for me, what I say is if you want to get into, you said that's not good for the climate. It's not good for the climate. It's not. It's absolutely not good for the climate. The amount of power used to run like these farms, these AI bot farms, these AI servers, is absolutely insane. Like and the amount of water. He said, get the gamer incels to get an AI girlfriend in their new game. If these gamer dudes, and that's what's going to happen, right? Jonathan is 100% right. If you can get these guys, and depending on the game, you know they're going to start making games for gooners again. Like, it's going to happen. I don't know if you guys remember when The Last of Us came out, and there was all of this debate over like, oh, they're making the characters ugly because the girl Abby was in the game, and I think that's been a thing with some recent games. Like, people are talking about how they're making the characters ugly on purpose. I promise you, I absolutely promise you, games for gooners is 100% coming back. You are going to see games with beautiful women inside because they're going to need the lonely guys who can't really function in the real world. That's going to be a main source of income. And you got to understand, people aren't going to need to go to work. It's going to be a self-sustaining cycle. This is why I mentioned the people like Dr. Disrespect. You're going to have these people who can stream, and they come with these pre-made communities. Who is it? Like Gilbert Arenas is playing Arc Raiders now. I don't know if you guys have seen that. I don't know if you guys have seen. Gilbert Arenas plays Arc Raiders. Like, dude, what are we talking about? Just like you had the podcast space. Like, everybody was, you guys remember back in 2019, everybody was making a podcast? Like, everybody had a podcast back in 2019. And then COVID hit, and then everybody was like, let me go out and get me a SM57 microphone, and let me go get me some lights. And everybody started trying to make a podcast. And it just blew up. What killed the podcast? When celebrities started getting their own show, Shannon Sharp, when people like Shannon Sharp came, bruh, you can't, how do you compete with Shannon Sharp? A 3-time Super Bowl Hall of Famer, 3-time Super Bowl winner, Hall of Famer. He's got platinum unk status. Everybody loves him. You can't compete with that. And he's got real charisma. You got people like Mace and Cameron. We've been wanting to hear what the heck happened between Mace and Cameron for years. Now they're on a podcast and it's funny. So is that UBI is going to give time for people to play. UBI. New York. What happened in New York? New York, you said, I want to play the game with one hand again. Joystick days. No, but like, what happened in New York? They voted in a Democratic Muslim socialist that wants Sharia law and wants UBI. If the economy goes bad because of this war in Iran, I promise you, I swear to God, women are going to vote for socialism. They're going to do it. They're going to be like, all right, just take all of our rights away and just give us UBI. And all the losers are going to be like, yeah, I'll take UBI. So it's going to be all the women, all the losers. It's going to be all the women, all the incels. The incels are going to take their UBI. They're going to play with Dr. Disrespect. They're going to play with the burnt peanut. They're going to have these digital gaming mafias. Like I promise you that's going to happen. They're going to be gaming factions and everybody's going to be plugged into the matrix, dumb as a box of rocks. Everybody, like that's the new streaming hustle. Now it's not going to be lucrative, obviously, because that's going to reach peak saturation too, because you can only watch. If everybody is producing this kind of content, who the heck is consuming it? Right? So that's going to be the next thing. That's why I'm saying if you're thinking about getting into content, you're going to need to get a jump on it. Like if you don't get on it now, like I said, I don't know when GTA 6 is coming out. I don't know if they're going to have these features, but as I have heard, and it makes sense, they keep pushing it back because AI is not ready to be fully infused into it, and stuff like Apple Music. They want to make sure that when Apple Music comes out, you can plug right into Apple Music, and that's whatever you play on your Apple Music is on the radio or there. Like they're trying to turn GTA 6 into this thing that you don't have to leave. You don't want to leave, right? You got to think. What happens when there's a movie theater in GTA 6 and a new movie drops? The new movie starring some chick or whatever, and you go to the movie theater in the game and then you watch the movie in the game on your phone or whatever you're like, think about that. What was the movie? Sinners. It was an okay movie. I watched it. It was okay. Think about when Sinners Part 2 comes out and Dr. Disrespect or the Burnt Peanut or Kai Cenat or Phantom is playing GTA 6. And they say, okay, gang, we're going to the movies to watch Sinners Part 2 or whatever. And they all get in the game and they drive to the GTA 6 movie theater and they all watch this movie, and Apple's like, yeah, we're cool with that. Just make sure you have an Apple movie subscription. And everybody downloads Apple Music and they got a subscription. I'm telling you, people, we cooked. We cooked. He said, I'm mad black. He said, I'm mad blacklisted on YouTube and Insta still got reinvent. Yeah. Blacklisted on Insta and YouTube. And it's like people have to reinvent. Like people are reinventing. People are reinventing the wheel. You're gonna have like Instagram. Instagram is cooked. I don't use Instagram. I only use Instagram when I'm trying to get clips for streaming. Like I don't do nothing on Instagram. Instagram for me is just for girls to show booty and for me to get clips to talk about when I stream. Is it an easy win for Apple? Apple, bro, I'm telling you, Apple is going to make so much money if they, I think Apple knows because they release the same phone every year. They have a new computer out every year, and they go M1 chip, M2 chip. It's like, bro, you probably could have came out the gate with whatever the M5 is. They knew that years ago. They keep selling you the same chip. They just keep unlocking different regions of it. Like, man, y'all know what y'all doing. But they know people are going to buy. Apple is like the king of marketing. So you got to think. They know they've been as exclusive as they can be over these years. And now it's time to play ball with everybody else. And that's what they're going to do. They're going to say, as long as you have an Apple movie subscription, you can go watch your favorite person on TikTok, and you can all watch the movie. You can all watch Apple movies or listen to Apple Music through TikTok, and it's one big event. Something like that. So I don't know how it's going to work. I don't know the logistics, but they would be foolish not to. It'd be foolish not to. Is it Glock does the same thing with the pistols? Yeah. Selling the same gun over and over and over. Like, what? This ain't new. Because I use Instagram for memes and racist-ish and offensive memes. And that's all Instagram is for. I get on Instagram and I troll people. And I try to get one comment that's going to go over 200 comments and likes. And I'm like, yes, the toxicity is still strong. I still got it in my old age. But that's what I think is going to happen. Like, I can't say that that's what's going to happen. But the reason that I'm telling you this is because, like I said, I don't play Madden and I don't play 2K. But 2K, I think 2K has been marching steadily toward getting more people to stay on the game. I think there's like a city basketball. Like, there's this thing in 2K, I do believe, where you can go to like a 24-hour fitness and people just shoot around, and like you don't actually have to be on a team, and like there's like one-on-one, and they're doing things to make it more, hey, stay and hang out and play, right? And that's all well and good. But what's the next step to keep people there? Because everybody has to compete with Arc Raiders. Arc Raiders, as it stands, they have the burnt peanut, and for some reason, people are watching this guy like nobody's business. I don't watch him. I don't know why people like him. I don't know why people like Dr. Disrespect, really. Like, I kind of get it. Like, from the 2015, 16, 17 standard, if you were watching him back then, I get it. He was edgy. But, he has a community. I don't know why people watch Kai Cenat. I can't watch Kai Cenat. I can't watch any of these Twitch streamers. I'm old, so I don't judge. It's young people's thing. Do your thing. But if you are a game company, everybody's playing Arc Raiders. And Arc Raiders has this burnt peanut guy that can get 1 million people to watch him for 7 hours straight. You have to compete. So you either have to pay people to come to your platform, or you have to find a different way. You have to be able to create the next burnt peanut. How do you do it? I think it's easier to get people to stay on the game for long periods of time than it is to create an individual personality. That's what I think. And I think if people are stupid enough to watch a peanut, they'll watch anything. I know he's a real person. I've seen his face a few dozen times. Like, I've done my research on him. He's a real person. But the point is, what's the guy, Cabby Lamb? You guys remember the African dude? He don't speak no English, and all he does is point. There's like a weird video going on, and he's just like, this guy sold his name, his image, and his likeness for almost $1 billion. You got to really think about that. This dude became a multimillionaire many tens of times over, pointing at stuff without saying a single word on TikTok, back when the Chinese wanted to exploit our data, allegedly. Back when TikTok was an amazing app, all you had to do was point and you could make millions. He cashes out at almost $1 billion. Now you got this peanut over here and people are watching this guy, and like with no shame. An AI company, a marketing company, they would be foolish to not try to replicate this. And this is why I tell you, you have to follow what's logical when it comes to this money. If you want to make money, follow what money does. He said, what is it? Don't feel too bad because I'm 27 and I don't even watch Twitch streamers, just YouTubers like you, AJ rants and reactions. Yeah, like I have posted hundreds of YouTube videos. Some people watch, most people don't. Like YouTube isn't pushing YouTube videos, like videos on demand, but at the same time, I don't think people want that. People aren't looking for the next Mr. Beast, right? They are looking for a dopamine rush reminiscent of Mr. Beast, but they're not looking for the next Mr. Beast. They're not looking for the next YouTuber who talks about this or that. That's why I'm saying if you're trying to get into social media, I think this might be like the last push. That's why I would say start making some content, right? The hardest part about making the content, I promise you, is just doing it. Just pressing live and talking about some stuff. That's why I say come up with like 5 topics. Have a topic about the law, like this guy broke the law, and just talk about breaking the law, and have a dating segment, and have like a money segment, or have a stupid person segment. This is the stupid person of the day. Stream for 45 minutes to an hour. Just riff. Just get comfortable doing it. Because I promise you, you're going to want to have some semblance of a digital footprint and of a group of people who want to watch you when all this AI stuff takes off. Because all the people, like I said, Shannon Sharp, he came into streaming and he brought hundreds of thousands of viewers that were going to watch him every single time. Cameron and them. All of these rappers, all of your favorite rappers, bro, your favorite rappers are retarded. Like they can barely speak. The only thing they can do is hop on streams. So that's why you see them hopping on streams with Kai Cenat. These people are suffering now that Kai Cenat went to fashion. They're poor. These people are poor. Every streamer makes more than the rappers. The rappers don't make no money. Music doesn't sell no more. So the rappers, they can come to YouTube once their checks dry up and they have an audience. And all they have to do is do a podcast. That's why podcasts don't work no more. People want to see celebrities do podcasts. They want to know what the celebrity got going on. Don't nobody care about what a normal person has going on. We want to hear from the celebrities. That's why the podcasts are done. But it's the same thing with the live stream. Like I said, Gilbert Arenas. Most of these athletes and rappers are like worthless on the mic. But when they start learning, how to do it, it's over for the regular person. The people from One Tree Hill, I don't know if you guys remember One Tree Hill. It was a show that came out like right when I was graduating. I think it came out in 05 when I graduated in 04, summer of 05. I think that show came out. It was like, man, you guys probably don't even remember UPN. It was like WB type programming, what we call now the CW. Those people have a podcast. The dude from Smallville, Superman, the guy Tom Welling from Smallville, that guy, that guy has a podcast, and it's actually pretty good. You guys got to understand, the podcast game is being taken over by people who actually have real clout. The streaming game used to be wide open, but now it's being closed down. So if you're thinking about getting into it, I promise you, there's no better time than now. I think GTA is supposed to drop sometime before next year. I don't know. But before that time, make sure you guys get out there and make some sort of content. Once again, I do sincerely apologize for not being more active. Right? From now on, I am going to be streaming. I'm gonna try to stream every day. I can't stream on the weekends. I got a lot of stuff going on the weekends, but I will be streaming Mondays, like at least, if not Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. I'll try to stream every day, but Monday, Wednesday, and Friday is probably gonna be what I do. He says, Team Superman, Smallville. Yeah, Smallville was very meh. It was very Smallville. Like I watched like the first 2 seasons, and that's because I watched whatever was out. Maybe the first 2 or 3 seasons because I think I was in like high school when it first came out, but it ran for like 10 seasons. Like it ran for 10 seasons, and there are people who watched every episode. Like Grey's Anatomy. Grey's Anatomy is still going on. Don't nobody care about them folks on Grey's Anatomy. When they quit that show, what are they going to do? If they don't die, which I think one of them did pass away in real life. If they don't get no work, they're going to the podcast circuit. Because there's people who watch this stuff for years and years, and people want to hear what these guys have to say. And you got to think. I don't know what you guys watch when you're on YouTube. There are so many clips of Ben Affleck and Matt Damon. Those two are doing the podcast circuit. Mega celebrities. Nobody watches movies anymore. Let me show you. I actually have a clip of Mr. Damon. Where is it at? This was supposed to be a whole other thing.
Behind that sentiment.
Well, so what happened was the DVD was a huge part of our business, of our revenue stream, and technology has just made that obsolete. And so the movies that we used to make, you could afford to not make all of your money when it played in the theater because you knew you had the DVD coming behind the release, and 6 months later you'd get a whole nother chunk. It would be like reopening the movie almost. And when that went away, that changed the type of movies that we could make. I did this movie Behind the Candelabra, and I talked to a studio executive who explained it was a $25 million movie. I would have to put that much into print and advertising, right, to market it, what we call P&A. So I'd have to put that in P&A. So now I'm in $50 million. I have to split everything
Hollywood conditions behind
everything I get with the exhibitor, right, the people who own the movie theaters. So
I don't want to play all of this because obviously this is Hot Ones. I don't know who was owned by, but I don't want to get copyright. But you see, Matt Damon is talking about, how the money is being split up, right? He's saying back in the day, you could be a movie star because you could do good movies, you could do bad movies. If you do a bad movie, just do another movie. And the DVD sales. The DVD sales. I don't know how many of you guys remember Fast and the Furious. There was the Fast and the Furious, and there was Too Fast, Too Furious. And, I think Ja Rule was in the first one, and Tyrese was in the second. And the first one takes place in like LA, and the second one takes place in Miami. At the end, if you bought the DVD, right, there was a combined DVD that had it had Fast and the Furious, Too Fast, Too Furious. And in the special features, there was a mini movie. It was like 15, 20 minutes long, something like that. And it shows what happened between the end of the Fast and the Furious and the start of Too Fast, Too Furious. And that was like a special feature. You would click on that special feature and you would watch you could either watch that little chunk, that little 12, 15 minute chunk, or you could just watch the movies all together, and it would put that chunk at the end of the credits, and then where that special feature ends is right where Too Fast, Too Furious picks up. People don't remember that. DVDs used to come with all these little bonuses. Like it came with bloopers and alternate endings and like what happened to this person. There were all these dope special features and everybody waited. Like that's why people bought it, because there were all these extras. The director's cut. Everybody hears about a particular movie and there's a director's cut. That's why the director's cut is meaningful, is because of DVDs, right? So people like Matt Damon are doing these podcasts. Why? Because the movies are dying. When was the last time you were excited to go to a movie? Don't nobody care about no daggone Matt Damon. I don't want to see Matt Damon in anything. I would watch, But at the same time, I'm not going to the theater for Matt Damon. Now you got to think, Matt Damon is in his 50s. Do you think somebody who's like 22 is going to go see a Matt Damon movie? There are no Hollywood celebrities. Kai Cenat is bigger than every Hollywood celebrity. IShowSpeed is bigger than every Hollywood celebrity. Mark Phillips of RDC is bigger than every Hollywood celebrity. Who cares about Hollywood celebrities? Like, this is just facts. The world has changed. So you got to think, these people have to keep their name hot. They got to do something. So the old way of doing YouTube, these guys, the Hollywood people, they're going to move to YouTube. I promise you that's what's going to happen. All of your podcasts are going to be taken over by ex-Hollywood elites, ex-Hollywood stars. All of the podcasts are going to be taken over, and then the live streams are going to be taken over by the people who partner with the companies, the video games and stuff like that. Like, Hollywood isn't going to just die because YouTube became this leviathan of entertainment. No, the people in Hollywood are going to invest in YouTube, and then they're going to put stuff there. I don't know how many of you guys watched The Godfather of Harlem? The Godfather of Harlem, let me pull this up. Godfather of Harlem. I don't know how many of you guys have seen this. I don't know where this show comes on. I don't know where this show comes on. But you know what I have seen?
Johnson, this is a police matter. I need you to leave, or I will call for backup.
Do I gotta beat it out with you, nigger? You know who this is? This is Ellsworth Raymond Johnson.
Sandro, they made you captain. I thought you'd be on foot patrol your whole career.
Hello, Johnson.
I don't know how much of this I can play without getting a copyright, so I'm not going to play it all. I've never seen a single episode of this show. But every episode of this, every episode of this show, I don't know, this stuff's all out of order. Every episode of this show that I've ever seen, I've seen it when I'm just scrolling my phone. I'm just scrolling my phone, I'm on YouTube, and some highlight of this show pops up. So what I do is I go and I look at the beginning of it.
Name.
Right? This is how movies are being made. In case you guys didn't know. People are shooting these movies for vertical format because people don't watch movies like that no more. So what they do is they put the movie, like they shoot the movie like normal. I'm pretty sure that this is on like Peacock Network or something like that. But while they're shooting the movie, they shoot like either 2 scenes or they shoot a scene for, Peacock, and then they shoot a scene for YouTube. That's why you can consume this stuff like this. There are entire movie series that are shot in vertical format so people can consume it that way. Right? So you guys got to understand. We are past traditional media. Traditional media is dead. The next movie stars are going to be vertical format movie stars. I promise you. Nobody's going to the movie theaters. There's not going to be another resurgence of the Avengers, and there's not going to be this next big movie. Like, there'll be some good movies, but 5 years, 10 years from now, it's all going to be on your phone. Like that's how we do things now. You have to think. Like Pyro said he was 27. I'm 40. When you are approaching 30, your mindset is always at least 10 to 20 years old. Whatever you think is going to make you successful. If you think, I'm going to get on YouTube and I'm going to start doing YouTube, you have an idea in your mind about what YouTube success looks like and how to achieve it. Because of that, you're stuck 10 years in the past. You saw RDC 10 years ago, 15 years ago do skits. So you say, okay, I'm going to do skits like RDC. That don't work no more. That's old. We seen all the skits. If you didn't get on when Trey Rags got on, that's it. If you didn't get on when Trey Rags got on, that's it. That's just how it works. You say, okay, I'm going to be the next big streamer. Like, you might be able to make it, but 2020 was like the stimulus package for all the streamers. Every streamer you see that's doing well right now, for the most part, they got on in 2020. They got on when they had a captive audience. I don't know what this war is going to do, but if at all if it slows society down, I'm telling you, stream. 1,000,000 miles an hour you need to be streaming, because you don't know when the next time society is going to be slowed down to where they have to watch your stuff. Right? Like if gas prices go to 1,000, the gas around the gas next to my house is like $6 a gallon. Now it's an Exxon Mobil. I'm not going to Exxon, but the point of the matter is, you guys can see how stuff is changing. So when you think about getting on, you think about the success necessary for YouTube. Everything is shifting. Hollywood has to shift. People are consuming things in vertical format. The streamers are going to have to work themselves into the AI format. AI is going to it's going to infuse itself into streaming. Apple is actively working on a way to get on TikTok. YouTube is going to have to respond to that. Now, maybe YouTube allows Apple Music to play. I don't know. But you guys see how fast the game changes. It says, how is Rumble growing? I don't know anybody on Rumble. I swear to God, I don't. I think the only people on Rumble are hardcore Donald Trumpers. Like, I know that there are people on Rumble, but I don't see anybody talking about it. Rumble didn't matter like past like 2020. Like that was the last time people really cared about it, because it was like, oh, we need alternative tech. We need alternative media. Well, ever since Trump got reelected, YouTube has relaxed what you can say. Like you can talk about transgender people. You can talk about, there's only one gender. You can talk about religious things. You can talk about stuff now. There's some guy who did a whole documentary about how there's a Jewish neighborhood doing the same thing the Somalis were doing. Like his stuff didn't get taken down. So, like, let me see if I can pull this up. New York, Jewish neighborhood, or was it like New Jersey? Yeah, this guy. This guy Tyler Oliveira. Like he did this a month ago. He got 5.8 million views. It says, inside the New York town invaded by welfare addicted Jews. YouTube. I didn't say that. That's the title of the video. So this guy got like almost 6 million views on this video. A few years ago, he wouldn't have been able to put this up here. He did the same thing that the Nick Shirley guy did in Minnesota, and he's gotten tons of hate for it. The point of the matter is, a few years ago, he would not have been able to do this, right? So that was the point of Rumble. You would have been able to put this on Rumble where you're exposing these Jews who are all on welfare. But the problem is we don't need Rumble anymore. Rumble arose from a need for very free speech, kind of like X. Like when Elon Musk went out and bought X, like that was when Twitter was doing all kinds of crazy stuff. Like you couldn't say nothing on Twitter. Well, now you can say whatever you want. So, right. So from that standpoint, I have no clue how X is or how Rumble is getting any kind of traction. He said the algo allowing this is crazy. I never thought I'd see the day. I never thought I'd see the day. Like if you never watched it, I'm not going to play it on my channel because I'm a small fry, so I don't want them to nuke me. But you see, like this was huge. This was real big. He said I did see the Jewish town. I even see that they have their own law enforcement. Yeah, it's crazy. It is crazy. They're doing everything the Somalis are doing, but so much more stuff.
I'm not sure the schedule exactly, but 9 o'clock sharp, they're not at work.
What is this?
Like he just goes around the whole day, and these people are just at the synagogue or church or whatever, just studying the Torah all day. Like they do not work. Now I'm not, I can dissect this on a whole other video, but I'm just simply saying, to answer Jonathan's question, I don't know how Rumble makes any money. I don't know how it's growing. I don't know anybody that really uses it. Nobody's going to invest in Rumble. Now, with the AI thing, if AI becomes this thing and it starts infesting video games, I don't know that Rumble has the capacity to handle that much traffic if somebody goes over there. Now, I've watched certain streamers over there, and it's always a very smooth experience, but that's because they don't have that much traffic. So I don't know. I don't know anybody who does anything with Rumble. So I don't know any Rumblers. I know like 2. So, there's that. But you guys can sort of start to see the pattern that's emerging. Everybody has to adjust. YouTube had to adjust. YouTube had to allow people to say more on their platform. Why? Because Trump said either you allow it or we start fining you and we start, sanctioning you and yada, 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 so on and so forth. So everybody at some point in time has to capitulate to what's going on. And that's what I'm saying. If you're going to get into streaming, do it the right way, right? Don't do things with an old school mindset, right? I don't believe, like if you don't start, like let's say you don't have a channel, you start a channel tomorrow. You say, okay, tomorrow is Saturday. I'm going to start my channel. I'm going to get my banner up there. I'm going to load my thumbnail up there and I'm uploading my first video. I don't think anybody watches videos. Now I can tell you because I got this channel. I got the Freddie G Speaks channel. I had a couple of other channels. I got a few channels with multiple hundreds of viewers or even thousands of subscribers. YouTube will push you and then they pull it all back. I don't think anybody wants talking head videos, right? That's why I say I would personally not waste my time trying to make YouTube videos. I would just stream and do shorts because that's what gets you out there, the clips. That's why I was saying the whole thing. Where's it at? God, Father of Harlem. That's why I was talking about this. I only know about this movie because of the clips. Like I said, it might be on Peacock Network or whatever network. I only know about it because of the clips. Most streamers, you only know about them because you keep seeing their clips. That's why they play the Clippers tens of thousands of dollars. So like the traditional way of getting out there and getting noticed is gone. If you thought you were going to get noticed because you're going to have a viral sit down and talk to the camera, I got a whole channel. Like if you go check the videos on my channel, like you just go to like the oldest stuff and I used to sit in front of the camera and talk about news stories and talk about, don't save women and put yourself in the bed. Nobody wants that. Is that I get what you're saying because streams and clips be pulling up a lot of people. It's like you just have to put clips out there. Like, and once people see all your clips, they'll come check out a stream. They will come check out a stream. Right. So that I encourage everybody. Like, why not? Like, what are you missing out on if you don't? Like, you're not hurting yourself if you stream. Like, unless you have like a corporate job or something like that where you can't stream. Like, and if that's the case, don't say nothing crazy. But like even video game content, get comfortable streaming. Like you can react. What Resident Evil 9 just came out. You can react to that whole game. You can just react to it or something. Like start with something easy. This is why I tell you, go to Instagram. Go here to Instagram and do just what I did. Scroll Instagram and then click on something and save it. Like all of this stuff you guys see right here, this was a whole other thing that I was going to talk about. Like all of this girl here, I'm gonna talk about this like Monday. I'm gonna tell you guys about all of this. You guys want to sneak? I don't know if I'm gonna talk about this part. Yeah, we can do this. We can do this Monday. Let me see. You guys want to see a sneak peek of Monday's stream?
I'm gonna be doing. Hi, I am going to be doing a sponsored silent stream tomorrow for Rise Above the Disorder, which is a charity that helps people with mental health issues get fucked to afford therapy, among lots of other cool things. And I feel like they make a really big difference in the world. So I'm quite excited to raise some money for them. And I don't know how well I'll do at staying quiet, if I'm honest with you, bitch. But we'll see. And hopefully I'll see you there.
Oh,
Hi.
So you guys see, I was planning on talking about this, and then I was at the beach, and Pyro was like, "Hey man, when you gonna stream?" I was like, "You know what? I need to go put a stream together." You right. So shout out to Pyro. But this is what we're gonna be talking about Monday, and there's a whole lot that goes behind this. Yeah, she has Tourette's, and she has Tourette's. And there's like all of these women had like this chick here. We're gonna talk about this too.
The cutest thing whenever I go to speak, and somebody's just totally taken aback by my accent. They're like, "Wow, I didn't expect that." I'm like, "I know, baby." I mean, I just think it's the cutest thing. I go to speak.
She has Tourette's too, right? There is a theme with women with Tourette's. This chick.
Right now. Fuck you, bitch. Tics are not picked up from words you have in your vocabulary or even words that are just in your head that you're thinking about. Hello, my name is Rachel Orkeet, and I have Tourette syndrome, and I have coprolalia and echolalia, and I'm going to teach you about what those two things are today. I understand, fuck you, bitch, that not everyone knows.
So you see, Monday's stream is going to be very, very entertaining. But that's the thing. Like, this is what you do. Like, if you want to get into streaming, I can't necessarily give you all the keys, but what I do, I hop on Instagram and I try to have a central theme. Like, let's get 5 or 6 clips, have a central theme about. That's the beautiful thing about the algorithm. If you click on like one weird video, you watch it like 2 or 3 times, like it, maybe put a little comment, the algorithm will feed you more like that, and so you can develop like a theme for either stream segments or like the stream main event or whatever the case might be. And that's where all of this kind of fits in. So like this chick, all of this, there's a theme to it. There was a theme that I'm going for. So he says they always have a man willing to marry. Oh yeah. If you got Tourette's and you look like this or this chick here, yeah. There's some guy willing to let you wreck his life. So it's 7 here. It was a 10 in Jamaica for Pyro. I don't know where everybody's at. I'm going to get ready to get off because I do have a busy day tomorrow. I do thank all of you guys for coming and stopping by, and I do apologize for not being more consistent. I will be streaming Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays at a minimum, and if I can get more clips together for a stream segment, I'll stream every day if I can. But next week, Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at the bare minimum. So like I said, get ready for the new wave of things going on. AI is going to be most likely creeping into your video games, but as bad as that might be, there's money to be made in that. Put yourself in a position to succeed and make this money, right? You got to roll with the punches because everything just moves forward. So I'm not going to preach at you guys too much. Thanks for stopping by. Thank you, Pyro, for staying on me to stream. I appreciate it. And I'll get back at y'all on the next one. Peace.